You know, in the 1960s and 1970s, a lot of odd pairings on the big screen. And this one for sure was a head scratcher. It seemed to work. Could have been a bigger hit, but not too much publicity and not too much buzz at the movie, even though two great actors in it. Shirley MacLaine and Clint Eastwood in something called Two Mules for Sister Sara. Came out in 1970. It was American-Mexican co-production in Panavision, directed by Clint Eastwood affiliate Don Siegel, and starring Shirley MacLaine, who was billed above Clint Eastwood in the film's credits, but on the poster, set during the French intervention in Mexico from 1861 to 67. The film was have been the first in a 5-year exclusive association between Universal and Sandin Productions of Mexico. It was the second of 5 collaborations between Siegel and Eastwood. Following Coogan's Bluff, the collaboration continued with The Beguiled and Dirty Harry, both 71, and finally The Great Escape from Alcatraz. The plot follows an American mercenary who gets mixed up with a nun and aids a group of Huarista rebels during the puppet reign of Emperor Maximilian in Mexico. The film featured both American and Mexican actors and actresses, including being filmed in a picturesque countryside near Talicapan, Morales. The great Ennio Morricone of Good, the Bad, the Ugly fame composed the film's music, which was also has been used or misused through the years through various parodies and Tarantino movies. Now, just after the American Civil War, a former soldier named Hogan Clint Eastwood, but again, could be the man with no name, we don't know, rides up on a naked woman about to be raped by bandits. He kills them and discovers the woman is a nun who calls herself Sister Sara. She is raising money to assist Mexican revolutionaries fighting French occupying forces. When Sara requests that Hogan take her to the Mexican camp, he agrees, as he had previously arranged to help the revolutionaries attack the French garrison in exchange for half the garrison's treasury. As the duo heads out towards the camp, evading French troops all the while, Hogan is surprised that the nun swears and drinks whiskey. While on their way to destroy a French ammunition train, Hogan is shot at by Indians and seriously wounded with an arrow. Sara is able to tend to his wounds, and she is able to set the charges that Hogan detonates to destroy the train. Eventually, the two reach Huarista commander Colonel Beltran's camp. Sara begs the local villagers for money needed to purchase dynamite for the assault on the garrison. In the lead-up to attack, Sara reveals to Hogan that she's not a nun, but a high-level prostitute, posing as a nun, because she's wanted by the French for support of revolutionaries. Although Hogan is shocked, as is the viewing audience, the two team up to infiltrate the fort and let a squad of revolutionaries in through a trapdoor, while 2 other squads attack the gates and a fort act as sharpshooters. Now, they expected the French army to be drunk for Bastille Day, but the destruction of the train has put the garrison on high alert. Hogan and Sara infiltrate the fortress by Hogan posing as a bounty hunter who has captured Sara and is turning her in for the reward. The ruse works. Hogan and Sara engage the French commanding officers while the garrison's gates are breached for the Mexican revolutionary forces to swarm through. A battle ensues. The French are defeated and the Mexicans capture the fort. As promised, Hogan receives half the riches. Now, welting to his job completed, Hogan sets off with Sara, with whom he has fallen in love, to open a gambling house in San Francisco. Now, again, cinematography, Gabriel Figueroa, edited by Robert Shugro and Juan Jose Marino of Mexico. Morricone has the music, color and Technicolor. Released May 28 in Dallas and August 13, 1970, about 2 hours running time. $2.5 million budget, nothing is on the screen, mostly for the salaries, and it made back almost double that. Now, Eastwood and Shirley MacLaine are the only two key, Anglo actors in the movie. Now, Bud Boltiker, a long-term resident of Mexico, renowned for a series of Randolph Scott westerns, wrote the movie's original 1967 screenplay that was bought with the provision that he would direct. Boltiker had planned the film for Robert Mitchum and Deborah Kerr, who had played a man of action and a nun in Heaven Knows Mr. Allison. Kerr's character was a member of the Mexican aristocracy escaping the vengeance of the Mexican Revolution, with Mitchum's cowboy protecting her as he led her to safety in the United States. Now, Carol Kay sold his screenplay to Martin Rackle, who had Alvaro Matz, also living in Mexico, rewrite the story. Malt's version had Eastwood playing a soldier of fortune for the Juaristas and MacLaine playing a revolutionary prostitute, now set during the French intervention in Mexico. The film saw Eastwood embody the tall, mysterious stranger once more, unshaven, wearing a Sarpi-type like I said, less violent, but more sardonic than a Leone movie. Now, Bo Tiker expressed disgust that MacLaine's body character obviously did not resemble a nun, as opposed to the idea of a genteel lady whose final revelation would have been more of a surprise to the audience. Though Bo Tiker was friends with both Eastwood and director Don Siegel, Siegel understood his dislike of the final film. Bo Tichter asked Siegel how he could make an awful film like that, and Siegel replied it was a great feeling to wake up in the morning and know there was a check in the mail. And Bo Tichter reposted that was a better feeling to wake up in the morning and be able to look at yourself in the mirror. Now, Eastwood had been shown the script by Elizabeth Taylor, at the time the wife of Richard Burton, during the filming of Where Eagles Dare. She hoped to play the role of Sister Sara. It was initially offered to her, but she had to turn down a role because they wanted to shoot in Spain, where Burton was making his latest film. Sister Sara was supposed to be Mexican, but Shirley MacLaine was cast instead. Although they were initially unconvinced with her pale complexion, Eastwood believed that the studio was keen on MacLaine, as they had high hopes for her for a film Sweet Charity, in which she played a taxi dancer. Both Siegel and Eastwood felt she was unfriendly on the set, and Siegel described MacLaine thus: "It's hard to feel any great warmth there. She's too unfeminine and has too much balls. She's very, very hard." 2 Mules for Sister Sara marked the last time Eastwood would receive second billing on a film. Now, Don Siegel had trouble with the movie. He describes the struggle to exert control over the filming. Marty Rackin, the producer, and I didn't get along. I make my points, but he would walk away saying, "I lose the battles, but I win the war." According to Siegel, the war Rackin won was that he, not I, did the final ending. It's a limited victory because you can cut the picture in the camera, shoot the minimum footage. There isn't much leeway in editing unless the producer orders more film shots. It was shot over 2 months in Mexico and cost, again, $4 million at the time. Many of the cast and crew, including MacLaine, were stricken by illness while filming, during to have to adjust to the food and water in Mexico. Now, Bruce Surtees was a camera operator in the film and acted as a go-between for Siegel and cinematographer Gabriel Figueroa. This led to his working on Siegel's next film, the very controversial The Beguiled. Figueroa used many photographic filters for effects in the film. Now, Eastwood revealed that he actually killed a rattlesnake for a scene in the film, as Mexican authorities did not want it released in the area after filming was over. Eastwood noted that he did not want to kill it, as he was opposed to killing animals. Now, this was a big drive-in hit at the time. Very, very strong movie, and a very popular movie in French. And the first time I saw it was in the Acadian dub. It's quite good. Now, again, it opened in Dallas and Denver in May of 1970 to great acclaim. It received moderately favorable reviews, as the New York Times reported, through Roger Greenspun. I'm not sure if it's a great movie, but it's very good. It stays and grows in the mind the way only movies of exceptional narrative intelligence do. Now, the New Republic described the film as an attempt to keep old Hollywood alive, a place where nuns can turn out to be disguised whores, where heroes can always have a stick of dynamite under their vests, where every story has not one but 2 cute finishes. It's kind of the African Queen gone west. In a review by the LA Herald Examiner, 2 Mules for Sister Sara was called a solidly entertaining film that provides Eastwood with his best, most substantial role to date. Now, biographer Judith M. Cass concurs in Siegel's talent. In Eastwood's manner, Siegel found the filmic mirror of himself and a mythic anti-hero of the sole American dream. Now, New York Times, including 2 Movies for Sister Sara in its New York Times Guide to the Best 1,000 Movies Ever Made, author Howard Hughes joked that the critics couldn't argue that Eastwood's acting was second to none in UN. Now, it made $35,000 his opening weekend in 2 theaters. The film returned $4.7 million in rentals in the States and Canada, rendering a solid, modestly profitable hit. A movie's gross is often close to twice the domestic rental figures. Now, two nominations, Laurel Awards. Clint Eastwood for Best Action Performance. He won 3rd place. Laurel Award, Shirley MacLaine, Best Comedy Performance Female. She got 5th place. Now, I give this 3 stars out of 4. I know that's my common, but I really enjoyed it. But it's kind of weird to see this movie in French or dubbed into Spanish. I heard it's pretty good. It has more of a resonance, but Shirley MacLaine as a nun, I don't think so. That's like Madonna as a nun. Shirley MacLaine was the Madonna of her era, but she didn't sleep with as many men. But she did sleep for, strength of purpose. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing with our Clint Eastwood Vintage podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And happy July 4th to all our American followers. May you have peace on earth. Bye.